Go inside the Crimson Tide with your hosts Rodney Orr and Gary Harris, keeping you informed on everything Alabama. And now, Tider Insider TV.
So excited for class. Camp sucks, but it's supposed to suck. It's supposed to be hard. It's time when the team grows. So, I mean, it's just one of those things you got to tough through it. And we really determine who can play and, you know, who can help us out this year. That's what we're kind of finding out right now.
And this is the place for you to find out everything that went on in fall camp. Good evening, everybody, and welcome into another edition of Tider Insider TV, presented each and every week by Buffalo Rock Bottling Company, alongside Rodney Orr from TiderInsider.com. I'm Gary Harris, and once again from Buffalo Rock tonight, bottlers of Pepsi products. We've got ice-cold Diet Pepsi. I love that sound when that can pops open, but I love that taste better going down. All right, Rodney, one fall scrimmage is in the books. And while we in the media don't actually get to watch the scrimmage, one thing Nick Saban pointed out afterwards was the disparity between the first string and the backups. Let's hear now from the coach.
I'd say the first teams executed fairly well. And then I think that after that, you know, we have a lot of guys that really need to work hard on having a better feeling about the expectation of the kind of effort, the kind of toughness, the kind of responsibility you have to actually know how to do your job on a consistent basis.
Well, last season, depth played a major role in Alabama's success. And Rodney, with the concern that Coach Saban noted there with the drop-off from the ones to the twos this year so far in fall camp, what about the depth issue? Is it a concern?
Well, I think at some positions certainly it is. I mean, when you look at the defensive line, we got a little bit spoiled last year with all of that top-notch quality depth. And, you know, Gary, you rarely have that, to be honest with you. And I still think this year's defensive line can be outstanding. The first four guys who we've talked about many times are certainly outstanding players. And then when you talk about the depth, I think that's going to come from some of the newcomers, Raekwon Davis, Jamar King, you know, maybe Quinnen Williams. And I also think, too, this is a great opportunity for a guy like Josh Frazier to step up. And it was good to hear Coach Saban single him out in that press conference because Josh Frazier has a lot of talent. He's been around here a few years. He's a junior. He's certainly a guy that could step in and add some depth, especially the interior part of the defensive line.
Yeah, one of the reasons that you solve a depth problem or a solution for the depth problem is having young, talented players, Rodney. And if the freshmen play well, that's always a boost. A number of them are poised to be a factor on this year's roster. Besides Jalen Hurts, who may wind up possibly starting at quarterback, we'll see. Let's discuss some of the other key guys in this freshman class that could help on the field this season.
Well, I think there's just a lot of guys, certainly. I think it's an outstanding class, first of all, from the opportunities we've had to see in camp. And, you know, there's several. I think when you look at the running back position, a lot of fans were concerned about the depth there. I think B.J. Emmons, I think Joshua Jacobs, both of those guys have had outstanding camps. I think they've shown that they can add some depth to this running back core. So I think that's a position. I think when you look at the offensive line, Jonah Williams, a true freshman, having a great opportunity to possibly start at right tackle. Again, we know that he entered school early. He was here in January. You mentioned Jalen Hurts. I'm sure we'll talk about him more later. On the defensive side, I mentioned Raekwon Davis on the defensive line, Quinnen Williams on the defensive line, Jamar King is a junior college player. We mentioned him. At linebacker, the inside spots, Gary, a little bit slack in terms of depth. And I think possibly Ben Davis, maybe even Mac Wilson.
Well, they're a couple good-looking kids.
They are very good-looking. And I don't want to forget about Terrell Hall on the outside. He's one of the best-looking specimens on the team. There you see, number one, Ben Davis out of Gordo. And this guy is a fantastic-looking athlete, and I think
Wilson right behind him.
Mac
they look like they're SEC ready physically,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, they really look good. And I'm extremely impressed with the secondary guys as well. You're talking about Shai Carter, who reportedly, by all internet reports, had a long pick six return in Saturday's scrimmage. Aaron Robinson's another guy. Jared Maiden. I may have mentioned Shai Carter, but he's certainly a guy that has stood out as well. So all of those guys in the secondary, I think, got to have a chance. And I like Trevon Diggs a lot. I don't want to forget about him. He's a guy that started at offense or defense. He shined at wide receiver. He's been working in the secondary here at safety, and safety's kind of a spot where, you know, Alabama's a little bit thin. So I think with his athletic ability and the way he kind of adjusts and grasps the game very quickly, he's a guy to really keep an eye on.
All right,
Diggs.
and still to come on Tider Insider Television, the secondary may be looking to some of those younger players. Is there a possibility another player will transfer away from Alabama? We'll have the latest. Plus, in Derrick Henry's first NFL exhibition game, he looked a lot like he did in college for Alabama. I mean, he ran through the Chargers like he was running through, Western Carolina. We'll have details coming up. Plus, we'll be welcoming your phone calls, emails, and tweets here on the program. Again, the number that you can reach us at 205-348-WVUA. That's 348-9882. You can email us at the address on your screen, or you can reach out to us on Twitter using the hashtag TITV. We'll be right back with the only show that takes you inside the Crimson Tide. Tider Insider TV will return right after this break. Derrick Henry played one quarter, the second quarter, in his first NFL preseason game for the Titans. But his numbers look like he played, by NFL standards, a full game. 10 carries, 74 yards, and a touchdown, and a lot of hurt feelings on the Chargers defense as the Titans beat San Diego 27-10. Henry will enter the season as a backup to DeMarco Murray. But this is going to be, Rodney, some kind of 1-2 punch. Look out, NFL. King Henry is on the loose. And some bad news for an NFL rookie out of Alabama. Another one, not Henry, but linebacker Reggie Ragland tore his ACL in Buffalo Bills practice, about 10 days ago. They hoped that the situation would be positive. No, he's out the entire season with surgery. And his teammate, right there, big, bad Marcel Darius, is facing a suspension for the first 4 games of the season for violating the league's substance abuse policy. That's bad news for the Bills. A couple of key Bama guys they were counting on not going to be with them to start the season. Well, welcome back into Tider Insider TV. I'm Gary Harris, along with Rodney Orr from TiderInsider.com. Late last week, the SEC approved Maurice Smith's transfer from Alabama to Georgia after a lengthy disagreement, I guess, between Smith and his family and Coach Saban. Then this week, another defensive back from Texas was missing from practice yesterday and today. Former 5-star quarterback Kendell Sheffield was absent from 2-a-days yesterday and also this afternoon. Coach Saban, though, met with reporters following practice, and he certainly didn't close the door on the young former 5-star DB coming back to Tuscaloosa.
We want what's best for the people on our team, all right? And if there's something that we can do to help resolve this from their family standpoint, we're certainly available to do that. And there's no pressure from our standpoint. School starts tomorrow. It's really important that our players, develop the right habits, have success in school. That's what they're here for. And hopefully he'll make a decision so he doesn't get behind from that standpoint.
Rodney, clearly something's going on here. But clearly, based on what Coach Saban had to say, he's hoping to work it out with the family and Kendell for him to come back, enroll in classes, and still be a part of this football team in 2016. That's the way it sounded to me.
Yeah, he's a redshirt freshman. I mean, this guy is extremely talented. He's very gifted. He was a track athlete in high school, a 10-500-meter guy. He's got a lot of ability, but sometimes it takes time, And sometimes these guys, when they're young, like Coach Saban said last week, they have people in their ear trying to convince them otherwise, that they think they should already be on the field. You just have to wait and allow the process to work itself out. He has a lot of talent. He can help here at Alabama, and certainly you would like to have him back. And
I know there was a report out today that he is set to transfer. But again, if you don't hear from Coach Saban, you don't always need to believe it. And it sounds like the door is open for him to return. Now, he may still transfer, but clearly that report today was premature in regards to what Kendell Sheffield is going to do. But right now, he's not at practice. Maurice Smith's at Georgia. This secondary's got a lot of talent, but as you mentioned earlier, Rodney, it's an opportunity for some of these young guys to step up and play a role because it's oftentimes Alabama playing 5, 6, even 7 defensive backs.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, too, Gary, it's also an opportunity for a guy like Anthony Averett, who has been here for a while. He's a talented kid, too, extremely fast in terms of his speed. He was a track star as well in high school. And I think, he's kind of allowed the process to unfold, so to speak. He's going into his junior year, redshirt junior year. You really like to see a guy like that have success. He's done really well in the spring, has done well in fall camp, and I know that he's certainly competing hard. But you mentioned, we talked about all the younger guys, Aaron Robinson, Jared Maiden, Shy Carter. All these guys are very talented. There you see number 2, Jared made it out of the state of Texas. He's a guy that, and he's got great size. I mean, he's close to 6'2", 200 pounds. There's Shy Carter, big play guy. He's got a lot of instincts. He understands things. He grasps things really well. He was a high school quarterback too, Gary, so he really has a feel for what goes on in the game. He's got a real knack. So all of those guys are very, very talented. I mentioned Trevon Diggs at the safety spot. He's an extremely talented guy. There you see some of the older guys, Eddie Jackson, Hootie Jones, Minka Fitzpatrick, and so forth. And, but you never can have enough. And Kendell Sheffield's been in the program for a while. You'd certainly hope that he would come back and continue his career. And there's another one, number 14, Deontay Thompson, who has really come on since the spring.
I'm glad they showed that clip of some of those veteran guys. Ron Harrison in there too, because we talk about young guys need to step up. But let's don't forget, in Harrison and Jackson, you got maybe the two best returning safeties in the league. And Humphrey and Minka Fitzpatrick, these are all-star caliber players, Rodney, that have experience.
Yeah, they're outstanding players. There's no question about that. But you always need the depth. Yeah. You need guys. You're talking about the various packages that you use. And you lost Mo Smith. He was a guy that had a lot of versatility and some experience at all those different positions, safety, star, money, all those different packages they play. So you lost a guy with all of that. So you certainly have to replace him.
All right. We're going to take a timeout. Coming up next, the fall sports season is already underway at Alabama outside of football. We'll take a look at some of the other sports that are on campus. And next, we'll be welcoming your phone calls, emails, and tweets. 205-348-9882. Email at TITV@WVUA23.com. Or you can send us a question or comment on Twitter using the hashtag TITV. We'll be right back after this timeout. Stay with us. The Alabama soccer team's already played 2 exhibition matches. The volleyball team's ready to crank up. And last week, several of Alabama's non-football fall coaches met with reporters at the annual Fall Sports Media Luncheon. And there was plenty of optimism floating around. This is a well-rounded athletic department here at Alabama. The soccer team already beat Troy and played Auburn, one of the best teams in the SEC, to a draw last week. And now they're getting ready for the regular season. Also of note, the men's basketball team is bringing in a graduate transfer. I'm excited, Rodney, for the 2016-2017 season. Why let that scholarship go to waste? Bola Olaniyan, formerly of Southern Illinois, will play for the Crimson Tide this year. Olaniyan is a 6'7", 220-pound forward from Nigeria. Now, he averaged 7.8 points. That may not excite you, but how about 8.8 rebounds last year? Second leading rebounder in the Missouri Valley Conference. He has got some muscle, and he'll get in there and bang. Nice pickup for the Tide.
Coach Johnson talked about last year about rebounding and having the desire to do that. This is a guy that has that kind of desire. That's what you need.
Yeah, and he's shot 57% from the field. Almost 67% from the free throw line. Nice pickup for the Tide playing this year. All right, let's go to the phone lines. First up tonight, Buddy down in Sumter County. Hey, Buddy, what's up, man?
Hey, man. This is from Center, Alabama, not Sumter County.
I don't know. But, hey, our mistake. Go over there in Center, Northeast Alabama. Crappie country.
Yeah,
go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, up here about Weiss Lake. I was calling. I want to wish the best to this year's team and all, and Roll Tide forever. But I tried to get through last week, and I didn't call in time. But I just wanted to comment on the great Snake Stabler's introduction to the Hall of Fame, and congratulations to his family, and long live the Snake. And I was just kind of disappointed with the way ESPN handled that, because one of the announcers talked all the way through his introduction into the Hall of Fame, and I just thought that was kind of
buddy. Hey, thanks for the call up there in Center. I agree with you. I watched it, and it was because he's passed away, obviously he wasn't there to talk himself, and they didn't show the family very much. They got to his introduction and got on to the next one. I would have liked to have seen a little more time spent on Ken Stabler and myself, but still, what an honor, Rodney. I wish he'd have been here to see it and experience it, but great for the family that he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Certainly deservedly so. And when you look at all the things that he did, not only at Alabama, Gary, but what a fantastic player he was for the Oakland Raiders. Won that Super Bowl when they beat the Vikings, and what was it, 76?
Yep, dominant team.
Yeah.
5 straight AFC Championship games. That not for the Steelers.
And you know what game I remember the most? I was a big Dolphins fan, was when they snapped the Dolphins' opportunity to win 3 in a row. He just floated the ball up in the end zone.
Clarence Davis from Birmingham played at USC. He's the one that caught that ball. Yeah, unbelievable play. All right, let's go over to Birmingham and talk to James. James, welcome into the program, buddy.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Doing great, James.
Hey, guys, I ain't no expert in none of this, so I just want to ask y'all opinion. I watched a little bit of the A-Day game, man, and I saw the Ole Miss game that Cooper Bateman started last year. And from what I can see, man, he's a little bit tentative, and he has a tendency to throw interceptions, too. So So I'm just asking y'all, as far as I see it, I just can't see him being the starting quarterback. But like I said, I'm no expert. I just want to know what y'all think.
Well, he's in the mix, Rod, you know, and I know what you're saying, but there's a lot of things that we don't see at practice, and that's why these coaches make a lot of money. They've got to figure it out. But Cooper Bateman's in the mix.
Yeah, and I think it's really difficult to judge him by one game, the Ole Miss game.
Right.
That was his first start, and it was kind of a snap decision, I think, in terms of he really didn't know about that he would start until late, shortly before the game. And I think that's always a difficult situation for a young quarterback. But, you know, he's got some guys on his heels. There's no question about it, James. When you talk about Blake Barnett, the redshirt freshman, and Jalen Hurts, these are two very talented guys. So, you know, Cooper Bateman's going to have to win it.
All right, Ronnie, we got a tweet coming in. Tweet. From Barbara, who wants to know, is the ruling on Alphonse Taylor getting any closer? Barbara, it is. Something should be decided before the team's season opener, September 3rd. It looks like that there's going to be a ruling well before that game. It's in the courts, and court records, of course, released indicate that Taylor tested negative for alcohol, but he performed poorly on field sobriety tests. So it looks like this thing is going to get wrapped up. A pretrial hearing was held already at the municipal court in Tuscaloosa. He was represented by his attorney. Of course, he's practicing, Rodney, but I hope it gets cleared up, and I hope he's reinstated to the team.
Yeah.
That's my wish.
Yeah, you know, post-national championship, he started 15 games last year, and you know, he gained a little bit of weight in the spring, and I think that slowed him down. And I know that Coach Saban certainly was pushing him in the spring. Redshirt freshman Brandon Kennedy had kind of bumped him there at the right guard spot, but you always knew that if he got himself in position that he would be back at that right guard spot. And I still think there's a good chance that could happen.
Yeah, he didn't start 15 games for nothing last season on a national championship team. Bradley Bozeman has also performed well there working at right guard. All right, coming up, a former Alabama track star takes home another Olympic medal, plus more of your phone calls, emails, and tweets. It's easy to get on the program. There's the information on the screen on how you can get in touch with us. Plus, use the hashtag TITV on Twitter. We'll be back with more TITV right after this. Waived by the Houston Texans in July, former Alabama wide receiver Richard Mullaney is back on an NFL roster, this time with the Cowboys. How about the Cowboys? Dallas signed Mullaney today to compete for a role with the team this fall. He joined the Crimson Tide as a graduate transfer last year out of Oregon State and played a crucial role in the team's national championship run. Also, of course, the Olympics are going on. Track and field, former Alabama sprinter Karani James picks up a silver medal representing his country, Grenada. So congratulations to him. All right, let's go right back to the phones. John's been holding in Cordova. Welcome in, John.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
Doing well.
I got two questions for you. One, are we getting closer to a quarterback, and who do you believe is his favorite right now? And that player that transferred over to Georgia, I heard there was a rumor that he was wanting to come back to Alabama, and is that true?
Okay, first on the quarterbacks, John. You know, it's going to be settled when it's settled. I think all three, Bateman, Barnett, and Hurts, are still in contention for that job. I do think Coach Saban would like for one of them to step up and be able to name a starter, but they're not going to name a starter just to satisfy the fans or anybody. They want to make sure they get the right guy.
And I still think, Gary, there's a good chance that more than one's going to play, even in the USC game. I could see two, and it would not be out of the question that you saw all three play. And I think, you know, as you get into the next game, I think that that's when they're going to want to start narrowing it down, because you're going to be going to Ole Miss in week 3, and I think they want to have a pretty good idea who's going to start that game in advance. So I think watch out for that Western Kentucky game. Isn't that the game too?
Yep.
That's the one to watch out for and see who gets the most reps at quarterback.
And as far as Mo Smith, he's not coming back to Alabama, John. Okay, I don't know where that.
Well, now he might wish that he could come back in about 6 months.
Okay, yeah. He's not coming back to play football here.
Yeah.
Let's be sure. Let's be clear on that. All right, let's go to Northport and talk to David. David, what's up?
Hey guys.
Hey.
What school is Bo Scarborough going to list as his official alum? You know,
high school alumni. You know, I think he wound up getting his diploma from Tuscaloosa County. Am I right, Rodney?
I think so, yeah.
But that's a good question, David. I don't know. It would be wherever he got his diploma from, not necessarily where he played football. But I'll check on that. But I think it's Tuscaloosa County is where he wound up actually getting a diploma from. But I'll double check on that and pass that along next week. All right, let's go to Saginaw and talk to William. William, what's up, my friend?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, my question is, who will be our biggest test on our football schedule this year?
Rodney, what you think?
Well, I think it starts with USC. That's the first
that's
game.
the biggest one right now.
Let me tell you, this is a very talented team. A lot of Alabama fans just think this is a given. It's not. I'm telling you, USC has an outstanding offensive line. They have some quarterbacks that, though they don't have much experience, they're very talented coming out of high school. I think Max Brown's probably going to be the starter. He was the #1 quarterback, maybe the #1 player in the country when he was coming out. They have some really athletic receivers. They've got a new defensive coordinator who's very aggressive. I'm telling you, they're going to challenge Alabama. Alabama's replacing a lot of guys on offense. Could be a close game.
All right, thanks for the calls, the emails, and the tweets. We'll be back after this. In his 4 years at Alabama, C.J. Mosley definitely earned his scholarship. Well, now his younger brother Jamie is ready to earn his after walking on with the Crimson Tide. The not-so-little 6'5", 228-pound linebacker earned a scholarship. Older brother C.J. wrote on a message on Instagram saying, "Now it's time to show the world what they've been missing." Good story right there. And another brother of a former Crimson Tide player, a couple of standouts in fact. His older brother John Parker Wilson was a quarterback. His older brother Ross was a terrific infielder for the Crimson Tide. And now, younger brother Peyton Wilson is going to play baseball for Greg Goff, but not until 2019. But hey, man, is there any doubt he was going to go to Alabama if he got an opportunity? No doubt about it. Well, as always, our beautiful shirts and ties provided by the Locker Room, home of the original elephant wear, located in downtown Tuscaloosa. I urge you to go by and see Alex and Rush and the staff, or shop online at locker-room.biz. Not just original elephant wear, but all types of great men's clothing, ladies' clothing as well. Football season's right around the corner, so why don't you go to the Locker Room and get outfitted for the fall? Hey, it's Tuesday night, it's the third Tuesday of the month, and that means it's time for dinner at Buddy's Rib and Steak in Northport. Come on out and join us. About 15 minutes from now, we'll be chowing down at Buddy's. That's going to do it for the program. For Rodney Orr, I'm Gary Harris. A replay tonight at 10:30 after the news at 10, and you can catch us online anytime at WVUA23.com. Have a great night, everybody.